friends. Chris Kelly here. Hey, end of the week. Time to look at what's going on in the wide world of real estate here in Portland Metro. As we navigate the atmospheric river, otherwise known as seasonal rains, that have officially commenced today. It absolutely looks like Portland today when people think of Portland. So anyway, that said, let's dive into the data here. Let's see. There we go. Closed sales are down a decent bit from this time last year. I don't, unless I see a trend on this for a period of weeks, it doesn't necessarily concern me, especially pending sales are up slightly from this time last year. So I think these things never perfectly work congruently with one another. So again, if this 22% number remained something like that for a period of weeks, I'd start going, what's going on here? We do like to look at the relationship between pending sales and closed sales. For example, a couple of years ago, this was super anomalous, right? So there were, the closed sales were way higher. Not necessarily a problem, but when you see a bunch of pendings and a trend where your pending sales are way higher than closed, that means that sale fail rates are still high. The rate of sales that don't actually make it to close. So, you can see in years past, like, the pandemic years where these numbers were inverted, the pending sales were lower. Everything was closing. That's what that was. And it was closing up faster than new deals were pending. And that's why inventory numbers were getting soaked and getting smaller. They're just getting soaked up and inventory was becoming anemic. Now, inventory numbers have actually been expanding. I showed you that last week with some of the market action graphs from the RMLS. Those are super helpful, super instructive. But yeah, this in and of itself just says it's about the same as this time last year. Same with new listing inventory. So this is pretty darn consistent. This number down here, average/median days on the market, went down back to kind of where it's been. Basically a month median and a couple months average. Same thing last year. These numbers not dramatically different. Pace was a little faster in 23. About the same as 22 and 22. So really, again, that's what I tell people. Look, if you're going to be on the market, you're going to go to market unless you have a really unique situation, either a really expensive property or just something that's appealing to a very small buying pool and you're not pricing aggressively. You're going to be the one on the market a long time. But by and large, if you have a house that presents well and it's a typically desired home in the marketplace, for example, I always talk about 3-bedroom, 2-bath ranches in suburban Portland. Easily, by far the easiest thing to sell. Unless you have problems, unless the house doesn't present well, it's mispriced, both. Assuming that you're priced right and assuming that it presents really well, that type of property sells easily because the buying pool is huge, relatively huge for that. As far as average median sales price, it looks, again, these numbers tend to bounce around a bit, but it's by and large kind of where it's been. It's just been continuing to do that. We're not on an up or a downtrend. We have not been for the last 3 years. So, and I'll leave it at that. There's an interesting article that I'll link for you. It was interesting enough. Home sale profits up in third quarter to near 50%. In other words, you bought a house a bunch of years ago for $200,000 and you sold it for $500,000 and your profit was $300,000. I'm simplifying this, but that's really what this is a measure of. And obviously, they can't know if you did a $100,000 remodel during that period of years. but the metrics are consistent how they're monitoring it. So basically, it's saying that profit has come up ever so slightly over the last couple years, and the other piece of that too is, in the article it talks about homeowners have been staying in their homes longer, which of course they are for all the reasons that we've talked about, that I've talked about every week. People have low interest rates; they're not moving from them. That's certainly a big contributor to it. But the long and short of it is, people that are selling made a bunch of money. Now, people that bought in 2023 or 2022 on haven't made a bunch of money. If you bought a house in 2023 and you're trying to sell it in 2025, you might get out from under it and maybe you'll make a buck, but you're not making a bunch of money, statistically speaking, because the market, as I talk about every week, has statistically been very flat. So, if you paid $800,000 for a property, did nothing to it, and tried to sell it a year or two later, chances are it's selling for $800,000, but then you still got the cost of selling it. So that becomes a net loss. Those are difficult circumstances, but by and large, people have been in their houses for a period of, say, 5 years or more. They've made a bunch of money, and the pandemic market accelerated that, right? Houses were going up in value by the minute, seemed like. So that's really what contributes to this article being accurate and their data being accurate. Is people have been in their houses a while, they paid this for it, they sold it for this. Yeah, that's true. But it's interesting data in here, and there's some other detail in it that made it, to me at least, worth the read. So, hey, the one I want to make the first announcement. 'Tis the season. It's almost Pie Day. And by almost, I mean about a month away. So, for us, we've had a pie giveaway for a lot of years. And it's coming up. It's always the Tuesday prior to Thanksgiving. Last year, we did it at Paradise Acres out in Damascus, an absolutely beautiful garden center, fantastic people, and just a really fun and gorgeous venue. So we're going to do that again there, and definitely invite you to come out and see us, get a pie, spend some time, have some chili. There's always fantastic chili being cooked. So it's a lot of fun. Anyway, there'll obviously be more information between here and there that I'll put out, but just want to get that out there because it's a month away. Anyway, I hope you and yours have a wonderful weekend and get your boat out and navigate the atmospheric river. I think we'll survive. But anyway, have a wonderful weekend. As always, I'm here for you and yours. If there's something that I can be doing, give a holler, reach out. Let's talk about it. All right. Till the next time.